So today we are going to learn the multidimensional array. So what exactly the multidimensional array? Okay, so let's learn that multidimensional array. In Java, multidimensional arrays are nothing but arrays of arrays. In Java, multidimensional arrays are nothing but arrays of arrays. So what are the advantage we are getting? So when we are using this multidimensional array, the advantage we are getting is it improves the memory utilization utilization of JVM. That's the only advantage we are getting when we are using the multi-dimensional arrays. So here multi-dimensional could be any. It could be a two-dimensional, three-dimensional, four-dimensional, five-dimensional, but we will stop till three-dimensional. Okay. So why? It's very tough to actually understand the four and five dimensional, and even very tough to write the code for four and five dimensional. So in industry, we people use when we are like when we develop any application using the arrays, when we write code using the arrays, we will be using two and three dimensional. So when we are writing the code, you will understand how tough it is actually to understand how tough it is to initialize things to the two and three dimensional arrays. Okay, let's see. Let's see the first one, the two-dimensional array. Two-dimensional array. A two-dimensional array is one which will be having the two square brackets. Two square brackets after the data type. Like this. Data type, two square brackets after data type, and variable name equals to int of size, and here also it is size. Okay. So it is the syntax of two-dimensional array. How you will identify an array is a two-dimensional or one-dimensional? By seeing these square brackets. If we have a two square brackets before the variable name or after the data type, so we will assume that so this is a two-dimensional array. So here you know that data type represents the type of value we are going to store in the array, and the square brackets which defines the type of dimension we are using actually. And here variable name, we know that so variable name is nothing but it could be a array name. Okay, so we can use any name, we can use any name as a variable name. And here, come here this is the size of the array, and this is the number of rows, the number of elements you are storing in a single row. Okay, so I'll come to know. Okay, and yeah, let's see some of the examples of declaring the two-dimensional array. So you got it right. What exactly how we need to declare the two-dimensional array? What is the syntax of two-dimensional array? Data type, array, variable name, and sorry, here we have to use data type, not int. Data type, size. Okay, fine. Let me see let me give an example. Int 2 by 3. So here when you are, so this is a two-dimensional array. You can, by seeing that, you can understand that here we have a two square brackets. So it is a two-dimensional array. So now what is this mean to, what is this is the meaning of, what is this meaning of 3? So this is the size of array. So how many rows you should be creating. Okay. And this is the how many values you are going to store in a row. Okay. For example, let's say here we are storing the here the size is 2, so we will be, let's say here we will be having a two indexes. So this is a row of 0, and here in each row you will be storing three values. That's the meaning of this one. So we have two rows, and each row you will be storing three values, and here also we have uh, to store three values. Okay, this is row 1 and this is row 2. So in arrays, we have to the index number will start from 0, right? So that's why we will saying row of 0 and row of 1. 1, 2. So right, two things we are doing, and we want to store the three values in it. In every row, we have to store three values. So here we are storing three values. So like for example, so in this indexes, we are storing three values. Let's say for example, I want to store 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So you will be storing these three values in this first in this row one, and here you will be storing the rest of the values 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, something like this. You are getting or
Yeah,
confused?
yeah. You said like index value start from zero, right? Like
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
like three rows it will come, or like only two rows
Only
it
two
will
rows,
come.
0 and 1. If I am saying 2, which is nothing but it will start from 0. Only two rows should come. I'll explain again. So if the size is 2, this is a row. How many rows you want to create? So 1 and 2, 0 and 1. And in each row, you will be having a three values. Okay. We will be exempting first row. We can't store anything in first row. This is row of 0. And in row of 0, we'll be storing a three values in row of 0 because it is 0 and this is 1, right? Okay. In row of 0, we will be storing three values again. Here also, it is row of 0 and it is 1. Here we are storing three values. You're getting? That's why it is kind of tricky concept. See, I said the we have two rows. In each row, we should have three values. Okay. Mm, think that this is a row of 0, and in row of 0, I'll be storing the three values.
Is it
This
similar
is
to
row of
two
0
cross
and this is row of 1. Yeah, sorry. This is row
table?
of 0 and this is row of 1. And here what you do is you will be storing three values, and here again three values will come. So this is the size of the row. How many rows in depth? How many rows you are going? So this is row of 0 and this is row of 1. Okay? Getting? Not getting. See, if you are defining the size in the left hand side, it will define what is the depth of the array. Okay, so he's saying that 2. 2 is the depth of the array, and in each row you should be storing the three values. In each row you will be storing the three values. So as per his instructions, what we are doing is, so the array depth is 2, and in each row we are storing three values 0, 1 is 2, and here the second row also we will be having the values. We will be storing the values. In each row we will be storing three values. Here for every index you have to store the values. Got it now? Tell me yes or no. What?
Yeah, like is it similar to the two cross three table, or like how?
It's kind of like that only. 2 by 3. Yeah, that's what. When I'm saying two rows, in each row we have to store three values. This is the one. You are mentioning how many values you want to store in a row. Let's say, for example, this is row 1. In row 1, I'll be storing the three values. So I'll be creating three boxes. In row 2, In row 2, I'll be for each here, for in row 1, we have three boxes. For all these three boxes, indexes will be created, right? 0, 1, 2. Okay. So now for all these three, again, in each index, we have to store three values. 3. Okay. Again, here it is 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. Got it now? The array depth is 2 rows. In each row, we are storing three values. Okay. So for every index, we are storing three values from row 1 here, from row 1 to row 2. Any confusions? Let me write a program.
No.
Okay. Let me write a program first. You'll understand. Okay. So this is fine. Now I'll be writing a program for two-dimensional array. Let's say example int 2 by 3 I'll take 2 by 3 I'll take. So 2 is the size of array or depth of array, and 3 is the um, values you want to store in each row. Okay. Let's say I have mentioned 2 by 3, right? Memory representation. In JVM, the memory representation will happen something like this. So if I am saying 2 by 3, so two rows will be created. So the rows will start from 0. The index will last start from 0, row of 0 and 1. Because row of 0 and row of 1. Because these are the two rows, right? Row of 0 and row of 1, these are the two rows. Now, in each row, what is that? In each row, we need to store three values. Let's take it 3. Okay. So again, this entirely is, let's say, I'll be storing this in some x. Let's say this is x. This entire thing is x. Okay. This entire thing is x. Now, this is 0th index, first index, second index. Okay. I want to store the value at 0th index. Okay. For each index, you'll be having a three you'll be having a three values to store. You'll be having a space to store three values, something like this. Now if I want to store the value at index number 0, here again it is 0. This will becomes x of 0. If I want to store the value here, I'll say x of 0 0, because I want to store the value at 0, this one, right? So x of 0 0. Let's say I want to store 10. I'll say 10. So the 10 will be stored over here. Got it? What I'm trying to say? Huh? Now, x of, this is x of 0. Now I want to store the value 20 at x of 1. So I'll say x of, this is entirely x, and this is x of 0 1. X of 0 1. What's the value? 20 I want to store. 20. Still. Now, the next thing. X of 0, I want to store the value at second index. So I'll say x of 0, and I want to store the value 30 at the second index. I'll say x of 0 2 equals to 30. So the value 30 will be stored over here. Again, Come here. Again, here in x of 1 also, we have to store the values, three values. So this is entirely x of 1. You're getting? This is x of 0. This is x of 1. This is x of 2. And we have the indexes inside x of 1, in the sense here in x of 1 also we are storing three indexes. Okay. So x of 1. So let's say here also we have indexes. I want to store the value 40 at index number 0. So I'll write x of 1, 0 equals to 40. Hmm? So similarly, I want to store the value at index number 1. I'll say x of 1. This entirely called x of 1, man. This entirely called x of 1. This entirely is called x of 0. I want to store the value at 0th index. I'll say x of 0, 0. If I want to store the value at index number 1, I'll say x of 0, comma 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. If I want to store the value at index number 2, I'll say x of 0, 2. Okay, here also. If I want to store the value at this entirely is called x of 1. If I want to store the value at index number 0, I'll say x of 1, and I want to store the value at 0th index. So I'll say x of 1, 0. I'm just giving the reference. Okay. Now, if I want to store the value at okay, this will be stored here. If I want to store the value at first index, I'll say x of 1, 1 equals to 50. Similarly, x of 1, I want to store the value at a second index. 50. X of 1, 2 equals to 60. 60 will be stored here. Again, we have one more value to store. Okay. So now this is entirely called what? X of this is entirely is called x of 2. This is entirely called x of 2. And I want to store the value at 0, 1, 2, 0th index, first index, and second index as well. So I'll say x of 2, 0 equals to 70. So 70 value will be stored over here. Okay. If I say x of 2, 1 equals to 80, 80 will be stored over here. So if I say x of 2 and I want to store the value at second index, I'll say 90. 90 will be stored over here. Okay, got it?
No, but like 2 and 2, 3 is like total six values only will come, no? But you have written like 9 values. And rows should be like only 2 rows and columns will be 3, in the sense like only 6 values should come, no?
No, in each row, he is asking us to write three values. Sorry. 1 minute. Let me stop this one. Okay. Let's create a, let's write an example for two-dimensional array. Okay, easy now. Static void main. Let's say the same example. Let's take the same example. Let's take the same example. So I want to store the six values. Let's say this is write a program to store the six values in a two-dimensional. Write a program to store the yeah 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Okay. Now this is the question. Now using two-dimensional store the values in a two-dimensional array. Okay, let's say I'll use the, let's write a main. Okay, main only we have. Let's write a syntax first. So I am syntax. So here data type array. Let's say variable name, just to new, but not new, int of size, size. Okay. Now here, let's use integer to store this 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So I'll say int array. I'll be giving the variable name. Let's say numbers is the variable name. I'll say int of size. Let's give the size as let's 2 and 3. So 2 by 3. What's happening here? Type of expression must be an array, but it is resolved as class only. Okay, let's type new. So now let's store numbers of 0, 0 equals to, let's say 10. Here I'll write the row size is 2, right? It will be created 2 rows, numbers of 0 and
Sir, hello.
yeah. Yes, tell me. Hello. Yes, tell me. Was speaking on mute then. Yeah. Hello. Oh, you can hear me, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. So here's a question. Write a program to store the 6 values in two-dimensional array. And this is the syntax actually. And let me add the one. There is a confusion between this syntax. Data type array, variable name, new int array, something like this. And we are storing the 6 values. Okay. So when we are saying int of size 2, so the 2 rows will be created, number 0, because the index will start from 0 and 1, right? So it will say 0 and 1. Okay, in number 0, again, we have to store 3 values. In each row, we have to store 3 values. So it would be something like this, 0, 1, 2. So here also, it would be something like this, 0, 1, 2. Okay, so now I want to store the value at the numbers of 0, and I want to store the value at the 0th index. That's why I have written numbers of 0, 0 equals to 10. Okay, if I want to store the value 20 at numbers of 0, 1, so I'll write, I want to store the value at first index. I'll say numbers of 0, 1 equals to 20. Now, numbers of 0, 2 equals to 30. Let me plug charger. Okay. So now I want to store the value, I want to store the value 40 at numbers of 1, 0th index. So I'll say numbers of 1 and I want to store the value at 0th index. That is 40. Similarly, I want to store the value at index number 1 at index number 1. Okay, so I'll say numbers of 1 comma 1 goes to 50. Now let's say numbers of 1, and I want to store the value at index number 2, 60. Okay, so fine. So these are the values we have stored, and you can write a for loop, or you can, if you want to see the values like one by one, so you can use this out. Sorry, yes. Okay. So for example, let's say I have stored the value at numbers of 0, 1, right? So let's see whether the value is stored or not. Run as Java application. So it is printing 20. Okay. So which means it is storing the values which we have initialized over here. Okay. Fine, right? Fine with this program, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
This arrays concept is quite tricky actually. Okay. So you have to practice a lot on this. So if I even also didn't practice it, it's give me confusion actually. Okay. That's what. That's a two-dimensional array. So three-dimensional array, it's similar actually. We will be having in three-dimensional array, we'll be having 3 square brackets. In 3D, we will be having 3 square brackets. Data type, array, variable name goes to a new int array size, here also it is size. Quite tricky actually. Let's discuss this tomorrow. Okay. And I'll be giving the notes regarding this in next 30 minutes. The entire array notes. You can just go through the notes. If you have any doubts, let me know. And I have written the memory representation for the arrays as well. Okay. So just go through it. Any doubts, let me know. Fine then. If you don't have any doubts, let me close this class actually.
No doubt, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Any assignment you?
Assignment, I'll give it. I haven't shared the notes, entire arrays notes with you. It's unfair that assignments at this point of time, I don't want to give any assignments on this topic. Once I share the notes, I'll in the notes itself, I'll be giving some questions, okay, to practice. Just practice those questions and send it to me. And moreover, and some of you people haven't like submitted the assignment as well, which I have shared with you on 31st. Okay. And then let me stop my screen. Okay, so tomorrow we'll see the three-dimensional array, and we'll see some of the methods. If there are some methods are there in arrays, so we'll see that those methods as well. Okay, so mostly 10 methods are there. We'll see those 10 methods. Fine then. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.